The victim of a convicted serial rapist speaks out.
And I really feel like he was going to try to take my life. He had done so many things to me, and I had fought so hard.
How long will Richard Mantha spend behind bars for his crimes? Plus, fighting to turn down the volume of Glenmore Trail.
It's really loud.
Residents of Riverbend say their sound wall just doesn't cut it.
Exceptionally annoying.
And Smiling Hank is back in Calgary.
For me, it's all by handing the baton off and providing the proper information to the next group of young men.
Former Stampeder Henry Burris brings his expertise to a dinos camp.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. Traffic noise along Glenmore Trail in the southeast is causing a lot of concern for some Riverbend residents. Some have difficulty enjoying their backyards. Some have trouble sleeping. Others have now taken to soundproofing their homes. Tyler Barrow has more on what's being done to help tune out the traffic.
It's a beautiful day on the deck to listen to Glenmore Trail.
Early in the morning, just till late at night. It's a constant.
Barry McCauley even installed triple pane windows to help block out the noise. He isn't the only resident in the Riverbend neighborhood bothered. Some residents have moved their bedrooms just so they could get some sleep. Kathleen Schroeder has lived here for 20 years and, yes, knew she was moving near a major roadway. But she says the noise coming from Glenmore Trail has become worse.
Added extra lanes on both sides. It's pushed traffic closer to the wall, and the current noise barrier is not doing what it was engineered and designed for.
She's not wrong. Last year, she filed a complaint with 311. The city assessed the area in June and found the sound exceeds the noise level criteria of 65 decibels.
I'm kind of in limbo. I have the report that was mailed out to me that says, yeah, it's over limit.
In a letter from the city, it highlights the area as a potential candidate for the noise barrier retrofit program for 2026. Areas considered for revision are based on number of homes impacted, severity of the current traffic noise conditions, extent of noise reduction required, and estimated cost of noise mitigation. Lakeview is now getting a new noise barrier after the expansion of Glenmore Trail raised noise levels in that area. Meanwhile, Riverbend residents say help can't come to their neighborhood soon enough.
The new walls now are thicker, taller, so let's update it.
At this point, all I know is I need to get their approval to move it forward through their convoluted process.
Tyler joins us from Riverbend tonight. So Tyler, what does the area councillor have to say about the concerns from these residents?
Councillor Rob Ward, who represents the area, says he wants to let the process play out without making any promises which he can't keep. Now, he did say his office will be paying close attention while looking to understand what mitigation options are available, how the area will be evaluated, and what a realistic timeline looks like if Riverbend does receive city funding. Tara?
Okay, Tyler, thank you. Sentencing submissions for a convicted Calgary serial rapist wrapped up today, with Crown prosecutors arguing Robert Mantha should spend more than a decade behind bars. Tyson Fedor joins us from the courthouse tonight. And Tyson, one of Mantha's victims asked for a publication ban on her identity to be lifted.
And Tara, Amy Ert wanted to share her story today with reporters, along with those in the courtroom, reading out 2 victim impact statements. She wants to be a voice for others who have fled sexual violence. She spoke to reporters today and a warning some of the details in this story may be disturbing. Now, Amy Ert's statements detailed her experience, the trauma, harm, and financial burden that she has felt in the last several years since Richard Robert Mantha violently sexually assaulted her at a rural property near Langdon. Court heard that she was suffocated and choked by Mantha before being sexually assaulted at his Quonset he had rented in Rocky View County. However, she fought back and escaped before passing out in a ditch and being found by a passerby. Mantha was convicted of sexually assaulting 3 vulnerable women and drugging one of them. Court heard most of the victims worked in Calgary's sex trade. Ert calls herself a survivor, and she is now 4 years sober. She read in court that she believed she was going to die that day, adding she has since forgiven Mantha for his crimes.
He's not the person he was when he harmed me, but at the same time, I want justice to be served, because if anybody else does this, or if it's already happening, then we can stop it from happening over and over again.
Crown prosecutors are seeking a 10 to 13-year sentence for Mantha. His lawyer, Justin Dean, argues a 5 to 7-year sentence would be more appropriate due to the conditions that his health is in at this point, suffering a stroke while being in custody over the last several years, and the fact that he cannot communicate properly with his lawyer or even speak. The judge reserved her decision for sentencing till September 17th. Tara?
Tyson, thank you. Calgary police have charged a man following a series of random assaults in the southwest that have been motivated by hate. Police say the attacks happened while they were patrolling the Somerset Bridlewood C train station last Thursday. A man approached them, telling them he was assaulted after stepping in to help a woman who was confronted by another man. He said that man hit her in the face and shouted racial slurs. 38-year-old Stephen Serrain has been charged with assault. He also was wanted on 11 outstanding warrants. A vehicle flipped, landing on its roof this afternoon in the city's northeast. Police responded to the rollover crash on Saddle Lake Green northeast around 3:30. They found the vehicle resting on its roof in the middle of the residential road. The driver was not seriously hurt and was taken to hospital as a precaution. There were also extensive damage to a second car on scene. Investigators are looking into what led up to that crash.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
Alberta's provincial wildfire dashboard is showing 0 active wildfires burning. A year ago, the province was battling 47 active wildfires during a hot, dry summer. So far this year, 688 wildfires have burned 177 square kilometers of forest. That's compared to 990 fires that burned more than 6,700 square kilometers a year ago. While much of Canada is dealing with fires due to hot, dry weather, record rains in Alberta have made the season here more manageable. So we have no fires, but there's still smoke. So let's bring Danielle in. The air quality is a bit compromised out there tonight.
Yeah, it is right now. We're at moderate. So we're getting some smoke right now from fires in BC and Washington State. And that's pushed us to a 5. So it is a little smoky out there, absolutely. In Calgary, it's at a 5. Lethbridge is at a 6, for example. But this is really going to work its way out over the next 12 hours. So we have better air quality in store for us for tomorrow. So that's some good news. We also still have a lot of heat and a lot of sunshine in store for us tomorrow. 26 degrees. Yes, you can tell by the live shot here. It's hazy out there. But again, that air quality will improve. We'll drop to low on that air quality health index by later in the day tomorrow. And tomorrow we're looking at lots of sunshine, kicking off the day at 15 degrees at 8 a.m., getting up to a high of 26 in the afternoon. But that 26 will feel closer to 28 with the humidity. Now, Thursday looks messy. We'll talk more about that coming up, Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. Premier Daniel Smith is taking credit for the federal government's move to repeal its electric vehicle sales mandate. While it may not have a major impact on consumers, one policy studies professor says it does show Alberta is being heard in Ottawa. Here's Amanda Anderson.
As part of a push to reduce emissions, the Trudeau government introduced an electric vehicle sales mandate, a plan that would have seen EVs account for 20% of vehicle sales this year and 100% by 2035.
When it was announced, we would say that it was good to have an ambitious target, but was it realistic? Maybe, maybe not. Time will tell, and maybe time's telling us, right?
Several provinces fought it. The Alberta government said it was unrealistic, unaffordable, and would have taken choices away from consumers.
I drive a Hemi. It's for a reason. I like the noise. I like the rumble. Me sitting down in something that you can't feel it go. No.
You have to replace your batteries after 10 years. It's a significant cost. And so that's kind of the part of my problem with it. But as far as in a general way, it's a good thing.
The mandate was scrapped this week without new stricter tailgate emission standards the Fed said would replace it.
It doesn't mean that EVs are being rejected. It simply means that a whole lot more needs to be done to present credible alternatives to reducing emissions.
The head of the Alberta Electric Vehicle Association says the scrapped sales goal likely won't impact consumers.
What drives the consumer focus is more on the incentive side of things. And since those have been put back into place, we are seeing the demand of EVs increase again.
He says it's also about educating people about how EVs have evolved. Alberta's premier calls the mandate removal a victory, thanks in large part to her government's advocacy. She also says it's an important step towards resetting Alberta's relationship with Ottawa.
She and Federalists can claim a victory here, saying that cooperative federalism does work.
The feds are expected to start consultations on the new tailgate emission standards in the fall, a process the province says it will be watching closely. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Canada's tariff showdown is coming to a head with just hours until the deadline. Where do high-stakes negotiations with Washington stand? And why Alberta doctors want more people tested for hepatitis B. That's next. Just hours away from new U.S. tariffs being imposed on billions of dollars of Canadian goods, we're learning that Prime Minister Mark Carney and U.S. President Donald Trump did speak again today. But it still remains unclear if a deal will be reached and what it will take for both sides to get there. CTV's senior political correspondent Michael Couture has the latest now from Washington.
Yesterday, there was a lot of action when you consider there was an hour and 45-minute meeting between both sides of negotiators that included U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. But today, it's been extremely quiet outside the offices of U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. While Canada is looking to get sectoral tariffs removed on steel, aluminum, and lumber, the tariffs on autos seem to be one of the most significant roadblocks to these negotiations. Right now, it's a 25% tariff on all non-American parts in those cars that are going into the United States. Sources are telling CTV News that while the Canadians want that number to go down to 10%, one American source says they might be willing to settle on 12.5%. Also new today, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce published a statement advocating for an end to this trade dispute. In it, the chamber encourages the two sides to continue talking with the goal of making a deal, saying, quote, the introduction of higher tariffs would damage both economies, drive up the costs for U.S. families, further disrupt critical supply chains, and risk the 13 million American jobs that depend on trade under the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement. Some of the people who were around that table for that negotiation say it's getting difficult to see how we can come to a deal because of how dug in the Americans are on sectoral tariffs.
It's not so much about getting a win for Canada, it's about surviving the damage being inflicted by Donald Trump and limiting the damage. We've got to ride out the next 2.5 years of this president. We're never going to get to a great place on trade with this president. He likes his tariffs. So the goal is limiting damage.
Just how much damage Canada can limit remains to be seen as the clock continues to tick towards that midnight deadline. Michael Couture, CTV News, Washington.
The leader of the Parti Québécois says if he wins the upcoming Quebec election, he will not hold an independence referendum while Donald Trump is in the White House. In a social media post, Parti Québécois leader Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon says this unpredictability of the American administration will harm our process, as well as the quality of the debate on our future as a nation. The PQ is leading in some polls ahead of the October election.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
Bring Danielle back as we look ahead to our 5-day forecast. The heat is finally back.
The heat is back and it is here to stay for the rest of this week. I know our air quality isn't the greatest at the moment, but that will work its way out tomorrow. So tomorrow will be even, I guess you could say, nicer than today because we'll have the heat, we'll have the sunshine, and our air quality will be better because we'll go from moderate to low on that air quality health index. Okay, just looking at temperatures, if you were worried about losing the summer heat too soon, don't worry. This will be a hot one for the rest of the week. 26 for Calgary right now, 28 for Brooks, 29 in Drumheller and Medicine Hat, and both of those communities got into the 30s earlier today. And it's 28 in Lethbridge. So yes, it's definitely a hot one. It's definitely a breezy one in this standard corridor, Lethbridge over to Pincher Creek, where we have gusts over 50 kilometers per hour. This will be the same thing again tomorrow afternoon for these areas. And everywhere else is looking at gusts 30 to potentially 40 kilometers per hour. That's Calgary, Brooks, over to Medicine Hat for tomorrow afternoon. All right, when we look at radar and we look at satellite, there is nothing going on right now. It's pretty stable, and this will be the stories we head through tomorrow as well. We're looking at that stability continuing. We're also looking at the air quality getting better as we go here over these next 12 hours, so you'll notice that tomorrow as well. It's Thursday that gets messy, and we'll talk about that. So as we head through the rest of today, it should be pretty stable out there. Tomorrow, stable, mainly sunny skies with the occasional cloudy periods at times. And then by the time we get into Thursday, even Thursday morning, we'll be unstable in the southeast corner. And then we're looking at kicking into some thunderstorm activity, and this could reach the more severe level in many communities as well. We will have all the ingredients in place. So we'll see that development just before 3 o'clock along the mountains, and then tracking off towards Calgary, QE2, Highway 2, down towards Okotoks, Nanton, for example. That's the potential with this first wave around 3 o'clock. And then we have another wave that arrives closer to the supper hour, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, and these could be pretty intense as well, as you can see. And then we have another wave that could roll in at the nighttime hours. So it should be active anywhere from 3 p.m. up until midnight when you're talking Thursday. Looking at the smoke and air quality, well, we're at a 5 right now in Calgary. Lethbridge is at a 6. This will work its way out for tomorrow. So we'll have better air quality, and we'll make our way to the low risk level of this air quality health index for tomorrow, especially by later in the day. Here's your Action Furnace 5-day forecast, 26 for tomorrow, but with the humidity, it will feel like 28. And then again on Thursday by 3 p.m. we get into the risk of not just thunderstorms, but severe thunderstorms, a high of 23 by then. And then we pump back to those higher 20s for Friday and Saturday with a high of 27.
It's a virus that can go undetected for several years, and many Albertans may not know they're living with it. Hepatitis B can cause serious liver damage, but early detection can make all the difference. Mark Villani has more on the push to get more Albertans tested and why knowing your status matters.
So these are all your liver stiffness measurements.
Jeff Lumsden is doing a routine checkup on his liver. These numbers indicate minimal scarring now, but this wasn't always the case. 2 years ago, Lumsden walked into a plasma donation clinic. After examining his blood, doctors called him back, informing him that he was living with hepatitis B and likely contracted it somehow as a child.
I would be lying if I told you I wasn't immediately depressed, upset, angry, shocked.
The virus spreads through contact with infected blood or other bodily fluids, causing severe liver damage or liver cancer. Symptoms like nausea or fatigue can often go unchecked for years, causing a lifelong infection with serious consequences. Lumsden found out he was never vaccinated against Hep B as a child because he was born in 1981, just 1 year after widespread immunization programs were introduced.
Living without knowing, for some people, ignorance and bliss might be a happy way to go. But at the same time, if there's a means for you to get treatment, for you to get help, to get, to speak with doctors and be able to prolong your life, I would say that is far more beneficial.
A new survey from GSK Canada finds that nearly 9 in 10 Canadians have little to no awareness of chronic hepatitis B. Less than a third rank the virus as a high cancer risk. 14% of survey respondents also said they were tested, but CHB causes more than half of liver cancer cases, affecting more than 250,000 Canadians.
So as long as you have ongoing monitoring, like regular blood tests and regular ultrasounds, then you would detect before serious liver disease develops.
Still, calls are growing louder to make Hep B screening mandatory. Alberta currently uses a risk-based approach, focusing on pregnant women or anyone with other risk factors. Testing is free for concerned patients, but only upon request. As for patients like Lumsden, he says getting tested now can make all the difference later.
You are not alone in this. There are organizations there to help. There are people there to help.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
Researchers around the world are working toward a cure for hepatitis B with a goal of reaching that milestone by 2030. Calgary will also be in the spotlight next year as it hosts an international hepatitis B conference to discuss the latest advancements. A by-election date is set in the riding of Calgary-Shaw, and already candidates are pounding the pavement looking for support. We'll take a look at who's in the running. And later, hard to believe no one was injured when lightning sparked a fire, which then produced a massive explosion in Oklahoma. The by-election writ has been dropped and campaigning is ramping up in the South Riding of Calgary-Shaw. Voters there will elect a new MLA on September 14th. Tim Brooke was in the riding today learning about those looking to steal the seat that some believe is up for grabs.
It's a busy day on the phones and doors for candidates in Calgary-Shaw.
What are your top-of-mind concerns?
This seat in South Calgary has been vacant since former Cabinet Minister Rebecca Scholes stepped down in May. On September 14th, at least 4 people will be running to succeed her, including Mike Derry for the UCP.
A lot of people come to me frustrated. They may not even know why they're frustrated. They're just frustrated, right?
Derry wouldn't specifically say what he'd do differently than Scholes as a member of the government, but does promise improvements in youth employment, education, and health care.
It's the cost of living. Everything has gone up and wages have not gone up to the same extent. So there's a lot of concerns there.
Derry's main competitor is Kyle Campbell. The NDPer's experience battling cancer has heavily influenced his campaign.
When I was feeling unwell, I spent a lot of time in emergency departments waiting for hours and hours on end. They are true professionals, but the system that they work in is overburdened and overworked and underfunded.
He lives just outside riding limits, but Liberal Party leader John Roggeveen hopes to become the first member of his party in the legislature.
I think they both run together. I mean, I think the people in Calgary-Shaw can best be represented by the Alberta Liberal Party. They're a lot more progressive than they think.
He sees an opening, even though a recall campaign against Scholes failed.
That suggests that there are those within the riding who are looking for better or different representation. And they might be open to an alternative, particularly given that it's not going to affect who serves as government.
And, of course, all parties will have to field questions about another important fall vote.
A good provincial government and good leadership can overcome the hurdles that we seem to be experiencing.
While I am absolutely going to be fighting to make sure that Alberta stays in Canada, we need to make sure that these voices of all Albertans are listened to.
If we're going to have a referendum on something, we should have a referendum on whether the government should be using the notwithstanding clause.
Advance voting begins September 8th. Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
Also expected on the ballot, teacher and lifelong Calgarian Kyle Joseph. He'll be representing the newly formed Progressive Tory Party of Alberta. That party did not respond to a CTV News interview request. The president and CEO of Heritage Park is retiring. Lindsay Galloway took over the post in 2020 after working for the Calgary Zoo and Edmonton Valley Zoo. A statement from Heritage Park's board of directors thanks Galloway for his leadership and for developing long-term priorities for the historical village. The recruitment process for a replacement is now underway. Galloway will remain on the job until November. We'll go inside the Glenbow Museum next. It's not open yet. The renovations are still underway, but we're getting a sneak peek behind the scenes. The Glenbow Museum is getting closer to reopening after a 6-year, $205 million overhaul. Staff are now inside planning exhibits for the new space, and the doors will open to the public next year. But today, our Kevin Fleming takes us inside for a look around.
They used to work in a windowless space, but this is the new conservation lab at the Glenbow Museum with lots of natural light. And windows will also let the public see the restoration work going on inside the lab.
We were hidden away. We used to do some museum schools, and that's when the students could see us, but otherwise, we were on the 8th floor. The public didn't have access to it. So all this work could not be seen by public.
Melanie Shorleen says staff are back working in the building and planning is underway for the exhibits on all 8 floors of the museum.
Most people might not realize that there's 8 floors in this building. And previously, the public could access 5 floors. What we've done with the renovation is we've made all 8 floors accessible to the public. So people will have a different experience on every floor.
Sam Brown says the renovation included a new street side entrance, and the museum boasts the largest freight elevator in Calgary. An outdoor space will soon be open to the public.
We have this amazing new outdoor space.
It was there before, but only pigeons got to enjoy it. So now we are building an actual terrace. There will be an all-season pavilion on that space as well. So 13,000 new square feet of public park space for Calgary.
And Brown says during the entire renovation, the museum's collection of 250,000 pieces never left the site.
We worked really closely with our partners like Ellis Dawn and our engineering team to make sure that items were protected, that humidity controls were maintained, those kinds of things, to make sure that the new HVAC systems, electrical systems, all of that could be done without any risk to the collections.
Staff say they still have a lot of work to do before the museum opens to the public in about a year's time. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
And thanks to a $25 million donation by the Shaw Family Foundation, general admission to the Glenbow when it opens will be free forever. The Science Centre in Edmonton will be closed until next year now because of flood damage. A severe storm last month caused significant damage, forcing it to close. Then more storms flooded areas that were being repaired, causing more delays. The TELUS World of Science was supposed to reopen in November, but that has now been pushed back to early next year. 147 employees have been temporarily laid off. All right, guys, well, everybody knows if you've got a pet, it is not easy to always give them medication. The key is tricking them.
No, don't get it. Don't get it. Don't get it. Oh, no. No. You were... Good boy.
See, this is smart. I employ cheese all the time.
Yes.
I put the pill in the cheese, but she pretended that she didn't mean to drop the pill on the floor. He knows he's not supposed to have human food, so of course he pounced on it. She didn't have to trick him.
I think I might try that.
I know. It's a pretty good idea. Just let it hit the floor,
right?
and you know that they'll come racing for it.
Yeah. After he ate it, though, he was probably like, what was that?
Yeah, that wasn't awesome. That wasn't as good as cheese.
That wasn't
wrapped in cheese.
Everything's better wrapped in cheese. I mean, come on. An unusual house that some say looks a bit like a spaceship is up for sale in Northern California.
I love it. It's super quirky, but I mean, where else are you going to live in a house that is round?
And if you don't love the view from the house, just change it, because the whole house rotates.
Come on.
It was built in 1963. It's known all over around the San Francisco area as the roundhouse, not just for its shape, but its ability to rotate 320 degrees. It sits on a motorized platform. It's powered by 2 old washing machine motors, and it sits on an old railroad track. So some engineer came up with this. There's other properties that are quirky too on that property, other structures on the property. The whole thing, you get about 7 buildings. That's another one of the houses with the cool kind of Pringle-shaped roof. $3.3 million. It could all be yours.
I mean, it would be cool.
Amazing view.
Yeah.
It's like a really, really short CN tower.
That's right. You look all over
slowly.
Northern California, though.
I'm worried about those washing machine motors, though. I mean,
smart. It's been holding up for 60 years, so I knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
A Walmart employee in Oklahoma just happened to be in the right place at the right time, camera rolling, and captured this sight.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this massive explosion literally blew the lid off a huge petroleum products tank in Oklahoma, sent it flying. Officials believe it started as a lightning strike, and then that set off a fire, and then that caused the blast. And then eventually multiple tanks became involved, shooting flames into the sky. Incredibly, nobody was injured. No injuries reported.
Wow.
And officials say that fire is now under control.
I wonder what they were rolling on. Just
whoa.
You know?
Yeah, what were they looking at to begin with? I don't know, but the camera was rolling. Yeah. Wow. Home sales are slowing down nationwide, and the real estate market is balancing. Just ahead, we have details in our business report.
Okay, Skywatch weather camera. It's been a stunning day. Yeah, a little on the smoky side, but that will get better for tomorrow. Okay, 26 is the current temperature. Our daytime high, normal is 22 or well above normal. This is a summer heat week. We have a lot of heat in our longer range forecast. So yes, 26 in Calgary, 23 in Banff, 28 in Lethbridge, 29 Medicine Hat and Drumheller, which earlier today did get into the 30s. Radar and satellite, nothing to talk about for today. It's quiet for today. It's quiet for tomorrow. The air will remain smoky tomorrow on the BC side, which is why there is an air quality warning in place for much of southern BC, Kelowna, over to Cranbrook and right to the mountains. But for us, it's going to work its way out tomorrow, so we're looking at better air quality. We'll go from moderate to low on the air quality health index throughout the day tomorrow. Gusty at times for tomorrow afternoon, 30-40 kilometer per hour gusts, and with the humidity it will feel like 28 in the city. So it's another hot one. In fact, it will feel even a couple degrees hotter tomorrow in the city compared to today. Lots of sunshine expected. That's your 24-hour forecast, brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free. All right, let's look at what's happening everywhere else for tomorrow. 31 for Salmon Arm tomorrow, 33 for Kelowna and Kamloops, 26 for Edmonton, so in those mid-20s, Rocky Mountain House, Red Deer, down through Olds in Calgary. Higher 20s, Coronation and Drumheller into High River, and Medicine Hat, 29 degrees for tomorrow, Lethbridge, 28 with stability. It's Thursday. That will be a bit of a messy one, Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. Let's return to our top story now. Sentencing submissions for a convicted Calgary serial rapist wrapped up today, with Crown prosecutors arguing Richard Robert Mantha should spend more than a decade behind bars. His lawyer argued for much less. But in a rare instance, the judge revoked a publication ban on one of his victims at her request because she wants to share her story. And a warning now, some of the details are disturbing. Tyson Fedor reports.
It's been a long journey for Amy Ert. The former sex worker and addict is now charting a new path to recovery, 4 years sober. She sat in court reading 2 victim impact statements at the sentencing hearing of convicted serial rapist Richard Mantha.
He's a sick person. Something inside his head made him think that these things were okay. He needs help.
Court heard Mantha took Ert to his ramshackle rural property east of the city, where he suffocated and choked her before violently sexually assaulting her. Ert fought back, managing to escape, and was later found in a ditch by a passerby. She is sharing her story to lend a voice to others who have similar experiences.
My hope is that because I fought for my life, I'm able to fight for others too.
In a rare request, Ert asked the court to revoke her name from a publication ban that protected her and 2 other women. Their names remain shielded.
The weight of a long trial can cause re-traumatization. It can cause great uncertainty. However, for some individuals, that could be part of the healing process for them.
It's a sign of the times. I think it is a statement of survivorhood as opposed to being a victim.
Mantha was convicted of raping 3 vulnerable women and drugging one of them. Since being in custody, his health has deteriorated after he suffered a stroke and can no longer speak.
And the judge is required by law to take into consideration rehabilitation. Is Mr. Mantha capable of being rehabilitated?
Ert says she has forgiven Mantha for his crimes to put herself at peace.
It's freedom for me, right? I have to move forward in my life. I can't hold on to that. Seeing him now, he's not even a third of the man that he was when he attacked me.
The Crown is seeking a 10 to 13-year sentence for Mantha, while his lawyer argued 5 to 7 years would be more appropriate.
A higher sentence, specifically for Mr. Mantha, could increase the victims wanting to report in the future, that they will be believed and that justice will be served.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
The judge will release her decision on September 17th on sentencing. The Alberta Utilities Commission started hearings today on a data center plan near the community of Indus, east of Calgary. The group behind the project, Beacon AI, and lawyers representing landowners came together for the online hearing with the Utilities Commission. Community members opposing the data center and natural gas power plant say the over 900-acre development will be taxing on the water supply for farmers. James Kyle, whose family farm will be located less than a kilometre from the power plant, says that farmers in the area continue to deal with droughts, and having a project like this will only compound the issue.
We've had multiple farmers in the area have to dig their wells deeper because their wells have dried up. The farmers in the area are all seriously concerned about how detrimental this will be to their livelihoods and to the food that they grow for Alberta families.
Beacon AI says it plans to address issues involving the water supply, wetlands, and noise mitigation efforts. Social media giant Meta is planning a data center north of Edmonton. Today, it faced off against a coalition of U.S. states in court. More than 24 U.S. states are suing the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. The case is centered on allegations that Meta designed its platforms to be addictive to kids, as well as misleading consumers about safety and claims over privacy law violations.
These are some pretty serious claims. Meta tried every sort of legal theory that it could to get the case dismissed before trial, and those were basically unavailing. So there's a great deal of peril for Meta.
Meta is expected to tell the jury that the company made efforts to keep kids safe online. Experts say this is the biggest legal test on social media's effects on young users. Ottawa has introduced the Safe Social Media Act, which proposes a 16-year-old minimum age requirement for social media usage. Flight attendants with WestJet are voting on the tentative agreement with the airline. 4,400 flight attendants went on strike August 2nd during one of the busiest weekends for travel of the summer. Hundreds of flights were canceled before the two sides reached an agreement. The Canadian Union of Public Employees opened the voting on the contract yesterday. It runs until next Monday. The bargaining committee unanimously recommends flight attendants accept that deal. There were fewer Canadian home sales in July compared to how many changed hands 1 year ago. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has more.
Sales dropped over 5%, but the national average price moved up a fraction. The Canadian Real Estate Association puts that price at just under $675,000. They say markets are starting to even out, meaning regions that once favored sellers, like the Prairies, Quebec, and the East Coast, are balancing. So is the Ontario market, which had favored buyers. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar's up a fraction to 71.96. West Texas Intermediate's up to 84.94 U.S. a barrel. Western Canadian Select up over $2 to 66.66, and the TSX dropped 299 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
History was made at the International Space Station today.
We'll get in position for that crew lock bag 1.
For the first time, a French woman performed a spacewalk. Sophia Adonot and a crewmate were tasked with replacing a high-speed antenna. It's used for communications between the orbiting outpost and mission control in Houston. The spacewalk lasted about 6.5 hours. Thousands of people lined Lethbridge's 3rd Avenue today for the parade to kick off Whoop Up Days. Knud Peterson, a community booster, philanthropist, and retired farmer, is this year's parade marshal. He led more than 100 entries featuring music, dancing, horses, and more. Politicians of all levels, including our premier, were there. Whoop Up Days runs until August 22nd. He's back. A face familiar to Stamps fans is now back at McMahon Stadium helping another team. Glenn has the story for us next. In North Carolina, a weather camera captured a bolt of lightning striking a Second World War battleship. The video shows the strike making direct hit on the vessel named North Carolina. The restored ship now serves as a memorial. The UFC Dinos have started their football camp. Glenn is back with us, and the Dinos have a familiar face helping out, Glenn.
Tara Henry Burris is here in Calgary as a guest coach. She's helping out the quarterbacks and happy to be back in Calgary. Henry Burris spent 9 seasons in Calgary with the Stampeders. This week, Smilin' Hank is back on the turf at McMahon Stadium, but not with the Stamps. He's here as a guest coach of the UFC Dinos.
You know, to have an opportunity to come back and just share some of the knowledge and to be able to spend some time with Coach Sheehan and the rest of the entire staff and the entire team, you know, this is something I couldn't hesitate to do, you know, especially in the city of Calgary, you know, a place that helped, you know, put me in the position that I am today, and I'm awfully thankful for it.
Burris was familiar with Dinos head coach Ryan Sheehan from their days in Hamilton and didn't hesitate when he was asked to help out.
It's been a blessing to get to know him, just to see his journey, proud of him, but to have a chance to come up here and continue to learn and continue to help give back to the game is what it's all about, and I didn't hesitate once he made that call to me.
Burris has a wealth of coaching experience. He spent time in the NFL with Chicago, Jacksonville, and the LA Rams, and he was a co-offensive coordinator at Florida A&M. That's where he first met Dino starting quarterback David Jordan. Burris recruited him and actually suggested he head north and try his hand at the Canadian game. Jordan says he loves being reunited with Burris.
Really just picking such a Hall of Famer type of mind. It was just amazing. And yeah, just spending the week with him and continue to spend these days with him, especially during practice, meetings, or even outside of the stadium, just really starting to pick at him and understand, this game it goes beyond life. So really grateful.
Burris is here to help make Jordan a better quarterback, but he has been impressed with the strides he's taken since joining the Dinos.
But just to be able to be here with them again, bring some home cooking with them, some home flavor, but also a guy who knows him well, a guy who can get after him about some of the little faults that he had when we worked together in the past, but also seeing the strides that he made and making sure I'm his biggest cheerleader in those moments as well.
Looks like Smiling Hank could still play the game. Training camp, by the way, wraps up August 28th, and the Dinos will play a non-conference game against the Regina Rams on Sunday in Medicine Hat. It's a big Junior A Minto Cup game tonight as the two Calgary teams go head-to-head. The Raiders face off against the Mountaineers at 8 o'clock. Both teams a perfect 2-0. Last night, the Raiders took on the Victoria Shamrocks. We'll pick it up in the third with the game tied at 2. Frieders cashes in here, fires it past Grayson Beggs. The Raiders with a 3-2 lead. Later in the third, the Raiders Nation will add to their lead. This time, Frieders gets it over to Luke McNamara, and he shoots and just trickles it past Beggs. That would make it a 4-2 game, and the Raiders put a bow on this one in the final minute. Cole Morris, beautiful behind-the-back pass to Dylan Beliveau. No chance for Beggs on that one. Raiders win it 5-2. They improve to 2-0 at the Minto Cup. Mountaineers, they got past the St. Catharines Athletics 14-12 earlier in the day, so that sets up the Battle of Calgary tonight at the Ken Bracco Arena at Max Bell. Rogers Charity Classic gets underway on Friday at the Canyon Meadows Golf and Country Club, but plenty to do prior to the event. Last night, celebrities and some members of the media got to check out the ballpark experience. They've transferred the par 3 16th hole into a mini baseball stadium, calling it the Ballpark on 16, and it's to honor the 50th season of the Toronto Blue Jays. Looks like the fans going to have a great time this year. Things could get pretty loud. And by the way, Carter Wilkie of the Wranglers beat Luke Vluswick of the Philadelphia Flyers, his draft pick in the final. PGA Tour Champions player Brant Jobe loves the idea. His son Jackson pitchers for the Detroit Tigers.
I think it's a great idea. We need to make these environments fun, and what a great tie-in baseball and golf. They had a blast last night. We had the music going, people hitting shots, a lot of pressure, a lot of good shots, some bad shots, but that's what we want, is we want the fun. There was a lot of camaraderie there, and that's what's really neat.
And his son Jackson, who's just back from Tommy John surgery, pitches tomorrow against Pittsburgh.
Lots to look forward to there.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Glenn. Okay, we've got about a minute left. Danielle, how's our weather forecast?
Okay, well, today was nice, a little smoky. Tomorrow will be just as nice, less smoky. So that's good news. A little bit of an improvement for tomorrow and a little hotter. With the humidity, it will feel like 28. Thursday, though, looks like it will be quite unstable. And not only do we have the risk of thunderstorms in Calgary and surrounding areas, but the risk of severe thunderstorms. And by that point, a high of 23. Okay, weather window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, and Alberta's climate. And Peggy Street sent this one in. How cool of a shot is that, taken on Saturday, of our lovely city?
That's really neat. Now, is that clouds or is that smoke possibly?
A little bit of everything, but probably less smoke because this was Saturday.
Right.
If it was today, it wouldn't look as cool. Although you could get some really cool shots in the smokier weather. So if you feel like taking a sunset photo, head on out because it makes for some really nice colors.
Yeah, it makes it very orangey. Thanks for your company tonight. Have a terrific evening, and we'll see you again tomorrow.